Chapter 3. Ellie the cat. Ellie sprang out of her chair. She wasn't scared, not at all. Grandma stood up slowly and pointed at Ellie. As you think, Jolly is so ugly and stupid, you will switch with her, Grandma said. You will live in Jolly's body and Jolly will live in yours. And I won't change you back until you find my wedding ring, which I lost years ago, and until you've learned some manners. Grandma's eyes gleamed. Don't talk wet, Ellie laughed, but then something very odd happened. Lightning flashed and thunder crashed inside the dining room. The room went dark. Ellie looked around scared. Then the light came back on again and everything was still. There, Grandma said, it's done. How does it feel to be a girl, Jolly? Ellie stared up at the girl standing next to her. It was her. She could see herself standing next to the dinner table. But how could it be her? How could she be watching herself? What's going on? Ellie looked down at her hands. She stared so hard she thought her eyes might pop out of her head and plop onto the carpet. Her hands had gone instead. She had paws covered with thick black fur that shone like her hair did after washing it. Ellie stretched around to look at her feet, more paws covered in the same black fur. What was happening? Jump up on the cupboard and look in that mirror, Grandma said as she looked down at Ellie. Then you'll see what you look like. Ellie wondered why Grandma was so tall. Ellie began to walk over to the cupboard, but it felt so odd that she stopped. She was walking on all fours. Ellie started walking again until she was just in front of the cupboard. The top of the cupboard looked very far away now. Before, it had just been just a bit shorter than her head. Ellie looked up at it. She sat back and sprang up to the top somehow, knowing she could jump that high. Ellie looked in the mirror on the wall in front of her. I'm a cat, Ellie yelled. Jolly's face stared back at her from the mirror, only now it was her face. I said I'd switch you with Jolly. You're in her body and she's in yours, Grandma said, and walked up to Ellie. If this doesn't teach you some manners, I don't know what will. You've turned me into a cat, Ellie yelled again. I have not, said Grandma. Like I said, you're just in Jolly's body. That's all. Your body's over here with Jolly in it. Ellie the cat turned around and saw Jolly sitting at the table. Meow. I love being a girl, Jolly said. She bent her head to lick at the baked beans on Ellie's plate. Jolly might be in your body, but she's still got cat habits, Grandma sighed. Never mind, at least she can keep me company and she won't be as rude as you. I'm sorry, Grandma. Please change me back, Ellie pleaded. I won't do it again. I can't change you back, Grandma said with a sigh. Not until you find my wedding ring. What's more, you've only got until dinner time tomorrow to find it. I forgot that the switch body spell has a time limit. But what happens if I don't find it? Ellie asked. Then you'll have to remain a cat forever. But Grandma, please, Ellie begged. It's your own fault, Grandma wagged her finger at Ellie. You shouldn't have made me lose my temper. Now you'd better start searching for my wedding ring, unless, of course, you like being a cat. No, Ellie didn't like being a cat. Not at all. No, she didn't. She wanted to be a girl again. Ellie jumped down from the cupboard and ran out of the dining room. She'd find Grandma's ring if it was the last thing she did. We will move on to chapter 4.